Hello everybody. Good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you are. I hope everybody's well. And I trust you're behave yourself and staying home and, all the good stuff. And hope your boredom isn't too bad. If you get bored, come over to my house. I have a lot of things to do. But what I wanted to talk about right now, I've got a few little odds and ends I have to do around here, so I thought I'd share them with you. Eggshells. Now, I keep my eggshells and I wash them out so they're nice and clean inside. And then I put them in a grinder and I grind them up, and then I put them in the soil for my plants. And let's talk about that for a minute. A normal person will look at an egg and think omelet, scrambled eggs, whatever you use them for, and such like that. A gardener looks at an egg and goes, "Ooh, eggshells." So, because it is a really good source of calcium for your plants. A lot of people use eggshells for a lot of different things. GydyUpGal had on her channel, and it's called GydyUpGal, and I'll put it in the description. But she used eggshells for a whole variety of things, and she actually puts them in her food, from what I remember from her video, for calcium for herself. I don't do that, but she's the only person I've ever seen do that. I'm sure other people do, but she's right. It is a good source of calcium. So I wash my eggshells out, let them dry, and then I'll show you what I do with them in just a minute. I have a little coffee grinder, and I grind up my shells, and I keep them in a baggie. And when I pot plants, I'll put a little bit of eggshell powder in there and blend it up with the dirt, and it gives your plants a little bit of added calcium. You add it to the soil, and especially for tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant. The crops are they tend to get, I can't say that word, susceptible, there you go, to what's called blossom end rot, which is caused by calcium deficiency in the plant. As the eggshells break down, they will nourish the soil and your plants, make them healthier. So I always put crushed eggshell in, mix it in the soil, and then put the plant in, and then it has calcium to feed the plant. Crushed eggshells are supposed to, you can use them to deter slugs, snails, and cutworms. Out here where I am and the type of bugs I have, I don't have those bugs in my garden. I get tons of those little earwig things that they got the little prongs on the back of them. They're tiny. They almost look like centipede kind of things. I get tons of those. And that's a big fight every year to keep them out of my corn. But other than that, I don't have the slugs and the worms. But this is supposed to be good to sprinkle around your plants in your garden. If you live in a wetter climate and you have slugs and snails and cutworms, this is supposed to help deter them. I've not tried that for myself because, like I said, I don't have those critters here. I have other critters that are just as destructible, or just as destructive. I can't even talk, I'll tell you. You could add them to your compost pile to add calcium to your finished compost, which is always good for any plant in your garden. If you're feeding birds in your yard, crush the shells up, or like mine, I make mine almost into a powder, but you crush the shells up, put them in your bird feeder. The birds need calcium too, especially the mama birds that are going to be laying eggs and raising their young. The extra calcium will be appreciated by the birds. So, but just make sure you rinse your eggshells out before you crush them and use them. And I got to tell you, I read something on the internet. I'm always looking at everybody's gardening channels and seeing what they're doing, because you can always learn something new. But I was looking at this one channel, and this guy, I can't even remember. It was like I was browsing through. He put a whole egg, uncracked, just a whole egg, in the pot with his plants. And that was supposed to feed the plant and make them better productive. So I thought, well, I learned something new. I'll give it a try, because I'll try things out. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. So I put the whole egg in when I was repotting my lemon balm. So I put a whole egg in a couple of the pots, didn't put egg in the other pots, just to see if there really would be a difference. And one thing I got to say about it is that when the eggs started coming apart, it did stink, like rotten eggs. Even though it was down in the dirt, it did it did have an odor, and it wasn't pleasant. So if you have your plants starting in your house, it's not going to smell so good. But after a while, they, decayed a lot more than the smell went away eventually. But there for a little while, it was like, whew. So let me show you the difference in the plants. Okay, I'm having to hold my phone and show you the plants at the same time. So this bunch of plants right here, right over here, excuse my old hands. I'm an old farm girl, and I'm kind of a tomboy, so I don't have really cute little hands, so excuse me. But these are the ones that I did not put eggs in. You can see those right there. However, these are the ones that I did put egg in this group here. Look what a difference. They're like twice as big. Let me see if I can get a different angle for you. These are the ones right here without the eggs. These are the ones with the eggs. I hope you can see that much of a difference. Okay, there's without, with. They're like, the ones in the back are lemon balm, the same as the ones in the front, but they grew twice as big. The leaves are much larger, and these are still looking kind of spindly. Even though I put them in good soil, and I did mix in a little bit of eggshell with the dirt, they just haven't taken off as well as these guys. So I'm thinking that he has a very good point. It does make the plants healthier from my experiment here. But they do smell. I have to tell you that. It does smell like rotten eggs. So if you're going to do that, I would do it outside or in a big greenhouse. The egg thing works, but like I said, it stinks. But it did work. I mean, as far as my little experiment here, you see the difference in these plants and then these plants. And that's all lemon balm. So I'm going to call that a success. Okay, these are my eggshells that I've had for the last couple days. I don't eat a lot of eggs myself. I'm just not a big egg lover. But I do baking. I do everything from scratch, and I do use eggs for like my bread and that sort of thing. This is the calcium. I put it in this freezer baggie. And this is the calcium that I have accumulated over the past couple of weeks from the eggs that I use. I just take the shells, rinse them out, let them dry, and here's my little coffee grinder. So what I'm going to do is take these eggshells and I crush them a little bit, put them in my coffee grinder. Oh, and I made a mess. Okay. I just crush them in my hand and stick them in there. Here's my crushed eggshells in my coffee grinder. And hold on, I got to get the top. When you have your crushed eggshells in there, I'm just going to set that on top. And here we go. Just push it down. Move back a little bit here. And some of it leaked out. Check it out. I'm probably wearing my coffee grinder out, or I don't have it on tight enough. It's hard to do this with one hand. Okay. And you know what that powdery, wispy, it looks like smoke. You know what it smells like? Have you ever been in a dentist's office and they're drilling somebody's teeth and it smells like that burning smell? That's what this smells like because it is calcium. So I'm going to take that and pour it in this bag and add it to my little calcium stash. So when I go out in the greenhouse, which hopefully will be in a couple of days, I can, oh, you know what, that's not ground up enough. I like it powdery. You don't have to, but I like mine powdery. Okay, here's some more smoke, guys. Poof. Okay. So I made a mess. But here's my crushed eggshells. I'm going to add them to my little baggie. And they're going out to be mixed in the dirt in the greenhouse and for when I plant my plants. And they will have a supply of calcium in the dirt for them to absorb and hopefully make them stronger plants. So hold on, let me clean up my mess here and we'll move on to the next step. My next thing that I want to do real quick, this is sort of a mismatched kind of video, but I'm just showing you some things that I needed to do that needed some attention. And one of those things, if I can hold this with my left hand, is that this lemon balm here needs to be cut, at least in my opinion. I don't like the plants to get huge. I like to keep them downsized a little bit, just to keep on top of them. I don't like the leaves to be huge. So what I'm going to do is I take my scissors. These are the scissors that I always use to cut my plants. And before you cut your plants or do anything to them, you should always, using hot water, soap and water, wash them, especially the blades. And then when you're finished, thoroughly wash them again to make sure there's no any bacteria that was on the scissors that can get absorbed into your plant that you're cutting from, because plants can get sick too. And we don't want any bad stuff, bacteria, anything on your scissors to get onto your plant. So wash your scissors before you cut and wash them after to keep your cutting scissors clean and to keep your plant healthy. So let's cut off a few things. And I got to do this one-handed because I'm trying to hold my phone and do this, guys. So this is quite a large little guy there, so we'll cut him and put him in our bucket. And we'll cut this guy here. I'm just going to cut off all the long ones. Oh, nope, that's a new one. Look how tall this new one has gotten. My goodness. And there goes my dogs if you hear them. My neighbor across the street is pulling out of their driveway, so my dogs think they have to bark at them. And they're funny. There's quite a distance, probably 1,000 yards between the top of my driveway and my neighbor's driveway. So they stand up here by the house and bark, and you know, real effective there. But okay, we'll keep them. Let's try this guy. And this is my lemon balm. And I'll show you what I'm going to dehydrate it and chop the leaves and make, with my little tea bags, make some lemon balm tea. And I'm just going to get the tall ones. And my lemon balm grows like crazy. It's like I'm constantly harvesting the lemon balm. And this is what, of course I'm growing this in the house. And I will, when the weather gets warm enough, I will be moving it out to the greenhouse. Okay. I think that's all the long runners. What's this guy? Oops, he's a longie. We'll get him too. Okay, I've got my bowl of lemon balm. Sorry, got too close there. So let me show you what I do with it. Let's bring this over here. See, my tomato plants are doing quite well. They're about a week and a half old now. And I have more little plants coming up. That's cilantro. This one is basil and sage, and it's not, some of the basil, one little pot started to come up. This is parsley and basil. So these cups are basil, and then you've got some parsley mixed in with them. And this is sweet bell peppers and a couple of basil, and they are all coming up. And like I said, it's only been a week and a half, but look at these tomatoes. These are the cherry tomatoes, and these are beefsteak tomatoes. And they are just going to town. So let me show you what I'm going to do with this bowl. Actually, I'm going to be back in just a second because I'm going to rinse those leaves off. That's what you should do also, is make sure, even though they're grown in the house, they're going to get dust on them. And if there's anything, bacteria on them or whatever, you're going to want to wash that, at least rinse them off. Make sure they're clear of the dust. So I'll do that and be back in a second. Okay, so I have my lemon balm that I picked, and it is rinsed. Got it all nice and clean. Got my hands all nice and clean in the process too. Always wash your hands before handling anything, any food, anything. My dehydrator is a little Nesco, and see, it's got the settings right here. And I've had this for, I'm going to say maybe 4 years. I use it a lot, especially in the summer. And this is my little dehydrator. I only have 4 racks. I think maybe this summer, because I'm going to have so much to dehydrate, that I'm probably going to have to get another one. So what we're going to do is, I'll show you, well, I don't know if I can show you with one hand, but I take these and I'm going to strip the leaves off of them and put them in this bowl. And then I'll just line the dehydrator with them, with the free leaves, and set it on and let it sit until tomorrow. And then I'll show you then what we do, but hold on just a second. Okay, you can see that I have stripped all the leaves. I had enough leaves I spread them out pretty thin because I didn't have a big harvest of them this time, but I've got 2 racks here with a little bit of, not basil, I keep saying basil, lemon balm. This is lemon balm. I got basil stuck in my head. But I had enough to make 2 small racks of the lemon balm. And I've used just 2 of the racks, and I usually have more, but it only took 2 racks this time. So I will take my lid to my dehydrator and fit it on there nice and snug. And it says for herbs and spices, 95 degrees. So I'm going to put it on 95. And then all I do after that is plug it in. And there you go. I like this one because it's a little noisy, but it's not bad. And so I'm just going to let it sit here on my counter and dehydrate my lemon balm. And then in the morning, I'll show you what I do. I dump it out, put it in my food processor, chop it up, and then I put it in a jar. Or in this case, I'm probably going to put it into the little tea bags that I have, and have tea, put it in with my iced tea. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you back here again tomorrow, and we'll finish up this project. Friends, gosh, excuse me. This is the next afternoon. I took my lemon balm leaves out of the dehydrator, so we're done with that part. And I have put them into my food processor. And so you can see the little leaves in there. They're all nice and crispy and dry. And I'm going to blend those up and then pour them out onto here. And I'll show you that in just a moment. Take them out of the blender. And I didn't want you to stay for the blender because it's really noisy. So I put them in the blender and chopped them up to little pieces like this. It's nice and dried and ready to put into one of my tea bags. So I'll bag this up, put it up in my cupboard. Oh gosh, it smells so, I wish I had smell a video or something, because that lemon balm smells so good. It's really lemony. I'm going to be putting that into the tea bags and put it up for when I make iced tea. And I will put one bag of the lemon balm tea bag into the water when I make my iced tea for my pitcher. And just one little bag of lemon balm will give the tea a nice lemony taste. And I don't even use sugar half the time when I use lemon balm. So that's it for preparing the lemon balm. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it if you made it this far. And you have a good day, good night, good evening, wherever you are, and please stay safe and stay well. Thank you.